In the words of the renowned philosopher Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know exactly what you're going to get. And while a bit of an overused cliche, it's true, isn't it? In any situation in your life, in your personal life, financially, your professional life, anything can change in the blink of an eye, for better or for worse. For example, recently in my professional life, things have been generally going pretty well. I'm an executive at a major financial institution. Recently, we brought in a new CEO who had a lot of pressure coming in to right the ship, so to speak. And then I blinked, and I found out we were in a little bit of financial trouble, and the CEO had decided we needed to make major layoffs throughout the entire organization. And it happens in business, I get it, but it's never good news. And to make matters worse, I was then informed that I was the one he wanted to fire the people that needed to be fired. And I get it. He was trying to maintain the friendly, positive image that he'd cultivated among the staff. But I still felt a little bit like I was being pushed under the bus. So now, clearly, I'm faced with a choice. Do I suck it up, so to speak, just do my job and fire the people? Or do I, to use a technical term, tell him that this is not cool? And in working through this choice, I think it's important to look at a little bit of historical context for the situation, the nature of my personal struggle, and how I ultimately decided that I will say nothing and just fire the people that need to be fired. In ancient Israel, on the Day of Atonement, the high priest would stand before the crowd and confess the sins of the people of Israel to the scapegoat, who at this time was a literal goat. That's where we get the word. The goat, after the ceremony, would then be sent into the woods to die, bearing the burden of the sins of the people. Obviously, in this situation, you don't want to be the goat. You want to be one of the absolved people in the crowd, like, there he goes, toodaloo, and you go off and sin for a little while and come back and get yourself another goat. And ever since then, we've made it a popular phrase. And more than that, it's become a more and more commonly used way for executives to save face, push the burden onto someone else. If I could quote Michael Scott, I would like all of the credit and none of the blame. But in this situation, the goat is not a goat, it is yours truly. So how do I feel about it? On the one hand, I have company loyalty. I feel an obligation to my boss. In fact, my philosophy through my career up to this point has been, if what they ask of you is legal and within the reasonable course of business, just do it. And it's been working out pretty well until now. On the other hand, I'm a person who values integrity, transparency, and accountability. And I think this decision shows maybe a little bit of cowardice on the part of my boss. And I'm disappointed. However, in the age of information that we live in today, branding and image are everything. And I understand that. And even though this will enable the CEO to avoid having several miserable conversations, ultimately, it may be to the benefit of the company for him to be able to maintain this positive image since we're trying to turn ourselves around. And so for me, ultimately, I think I have no choice but to just man up, if you will, and do what I've been asked to do. And hopefully, me falling on this sword, or rather being pushed onto this sword, will earn me a little bit of credit in my own career, because refusing to do something that's asked of you was never a great career move. So I will do the firing, and I will try to be as kind and understanding as possible. There's no good way to be told that you're losing your job, but I'm going to try very hard not to be callous about it. As we hear a million times throughout our life, life is a box of chocolates, and this particular piece tastes uncomfortable. However, hopefully in the long run, this will earn me some credit and goodwill in my own career, and maybe one day, if I'm running things, I can make different choices and choose to value accountability.